All right, OpenAI just finished their live stream. They have a bunch of new agent functionality, specifically through the API. Let's watch it together and I'll give you my thoughts.
We're excited to launch a bunch of new tools that make it easy for developers to build reliable and useful agents. Now, when we say agent, we mean a system that can act independently to do tasks on your behalf.
I like that definition. So a system that can act independently and accomplish things on your behalf. I think that's a really good way to explain it. Usually I'll include stuff like it can do things autonomously and has tools and it has memory and obviously built around a core model. But I really like that definition as well.
The first is operator, which can browse the web and do things for you on the web. The second is deep research, which can create detailed reports for you on any topic you want.
By the way, operator, kind of barely usable. It's okay, but doesn't really work a lot of the time. Deep research, on the other hand, is phenomenal. I use it all the time. It provides a lot of value to me, and there are a lot of real-world use cases that I'm using it for day to day.
The feedback for those has been fantastic, but we want to now launch those tools and more in the API to developers. So we've spent the last couple months going around talking to developers all over the world about how we can make it easy for them to build agents. And what we've heard is that the models are ready. So with advanced reasoning, with multimodal understanding, our models can now do the kind of complex multi-step workflows that agents need.
Yeah, and I think that's a key, and maybe even underemphasized in this video. The models are ready. Look at Manus. Manus is an incredible project built on likely Claude, but the core intelligence in these models are good enough. And now we need to build out the infrastructure around the models, the tool use like MCP servers, local environments, so it can actually write code, execute code, test, and create directories. And that's another thing Manus does really well. And so the architecture around the core model is really what needs to be built out now.
But on the other hand, developers feel like they're having to cobble together different low-level APIs from different sources. It's difficult, it's slow, it often feels brittle. So today we're really excited to bring that together into a series of tools and a new API and an open source SDK to make this a lot easier. So with that, let me introduce the team.
Yeah, hi, I'm Ilan. I'm an engineer on the developer experience team.
I'm Steve. I'm an engineer on the API team.
And I'm Nikunj. I work on the API product team. So let's dive into all the stuff that we are launching today. Like Kevin mentioned, we have 3 new built-in tools. We have a new API and an open source SDK. Starting off with the built-in tools, the first tool that we're announcing today is called the Web Search tool. The Web Search tool allows our models to access information from the internet so that your responses and the output that you get is up-to-date and factual.
Yeah, I mean, that is the most basic tool that any AI system needs, is the ability to search the web, because then they go from being a static, completely frozen in time source of information to being actually able to have real-time information to learn, to get better. And all of this requires being able to search the web.
The Web Search tool is the same tool that powers ChatGPT Search, and it's powered by a fine-tuned model under the hood. So this is the fine-tuned GPT-4o or 4o mini that is really good at looking at large amounts of data retrieved from the web, finding the relevant pieces of information, and then clearly citing it in its response. In a benchmark that measures these type of things, which is called Simple QA, you can see that GPT-4.
So that's really interesting. I did not know that the Web Search tool had a custom fine-tuned model under it. And here, look at this. So this is simple QA, simple question and answer accuracy, and even cutting edge models, GPT 4.5, GPT-4o, o1, o3 mini, they don't score very well. But when you have these models enhanced with search, they become much better.
4o hits a high score of state-of-the-art score of 90%. So that's the first tool. Steve, do you want to tell us about the second one?
Yeah, the second tool is actually my favorite tool, and this is the file search tool. Now, we launched the file search tool last year in the Assistance API as a way for developers to upload, chunk, embed their documents, and then RAG really easily over those documents. Now, we're really excited to be launching 2 new features in the file search tool today. The first is metadata filtering. So with metadata filtering, you can add attributes to your files to be able to easily filter them down to just the ones that are the most relevant for your query. The second is a direct search endpoint. So now you can directly search your vector stores without your queries being filtered through the model first.
Nice. So you have web search for the public data, file search for the private data that you have.
All right, both of those very useful tools, web search and private search, and now you can have metadata. So for example, you can likely tag your files or directories and just more easily search them. And one of the launch partners of the Agents SDK was Box, also the sponsor of today's video. They're doing some really cool stuff with the Agents SDK, enabling enterprises to search, query, and extract insights from unstructured data stored in Box. Let me tell you more. Introducing Box AI from Box. Every business sits on top of an immense amount of unstructured data. And yet the true potential of all of this data remains largely untapped. The problem is analyzing all of that unstructured data is really, really difficult until now. That's where Box AI comes in. With Box AI, developers and businesses can leverage the latest breakthroughs in AI to automate document processing and workflows, extract insights from content, build custom AI agents to work on that content, and so much more. And Box AI works with all of the leading model providers. And so you can always be sure you're using the latest AI with your content. Use it to extract key metadata fields from contracts, invoices, financial documents, resumes, and more to automate workflows. You can also ask questions of any of the content you have within the Box ecosystem, such as sales presentations or long research reports. And if you're a developer, leverage Box AI's API to build really cool automations and applications right on top of your own content. Box AI handles the entire RAG pipeline for you. Do all of this while maintaining the highest levels of security, compliance, and data governance that over 115,000 enterprises trust. Unlock the power of your content with intelligent content management by Box. Thanks again to Box. Now back to the video.
And the third tool that we are launching is the computer use tool. The computer use tool is operator in the API, but it allows you to control the computers that you are operating. So this could be a virtual machine, it could be a legacy application that just has a graphical user interface and you have no API access to it. If you want to automate those kind of tasks and build applications on that, you can use the computer use tool, which comes with the computer use model.
So again, really cool. Computer use is useful. And it really makes me think about Manus again. Obviously, I've just gotten done testing Manus like crazy, and so I'm thinking about it a lot. And so Manus takes all of these different things and puts it all together in a really nice way. And that's what we're seeing here is a framework, an API, where you can essentially build all of these things yourself. So it's giving you the ability to control a computer. Maybe you want to spin up a new environment per session, very similar to what Manus does. Then you go out and search the web for all the up-to-date information about whatever your task is. And then you can store all that information locally. You can write notes and you can write code and have all of that stored in files on your local computer, on your containerized environment, whatever it is.
So this is the same model that is used by Operator in ChatGPT. It has SORA benchmarks on OS World, Web Arena, Web Voyager. Early user feedback on the Kua model and the tool has been super, super positive. So I'm really excited to see what all of you build with it. All right, so those are the three tools. And while we were building these tools and thinking of getting them out, we also wanted to take a first principles approach at designing the best API for these tools. We released chat completions, I think, in March 2023 alongside GPT 3.5 Turbo. And every single API interaction at that time was just text in and text out. Since then, we've introduced multimodality. So you have images, you have audio. We are introducing tools today. And you also have products like O1 Pro, Deep Research, Operator that make these multiple model turns and multiple tool calls behind the scenes. So we wanted to build an API primitive that is flexible enough. It supports multiple turns. It supports tools. And we're calling this new API the Responses API. And to show you the Responses API, I'm going to hand it over to Steve.
Cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Responses API. So if you've used chat completions before, this will look really familiar to you.
So the completions endpoint is the standard on the web for AI right now. Any model that you're using through an API likely is the OpenAI standard, and that is the completions endpoint standard.
You select some context, you pick a model, and you get a response.
It's pretty simple.
It's pretty simple, and it's always hilarious. So,
Maybe not.
maybe
I don't
not.
know.
So to demonstrate the power of the Responses API, we're going to be building sort of a personal stylist assistant. So let's start off by giving it some instructions. You are a personal stylist.
You're only typing in front of like 50,000 people right now. Don't worry about it.
Cool. And we'll say, we'll get rid of this, and we'll say, what are some of the latest trends?
So nothing really different from what you would be doing with the completions endpoint. The only difference, as you can see right here, we're using responses instead. But they're going to expand on that. Let's watch.
Jokes in the context.
The joke is in the context. Let's see what it says. OK, cool. Great. But no personal stylist assistant is complete unless it understands what its users like. So in order to demonstrate this, we've created a vector store that has some like some entries, almost some diary entries of what people on the team have been wearing. We've kind of been.
That's not weird at all.
It's not weird at all. I would just let it happen. We've kind of been following people around the office and kind of like understanding what they've been up to. So
We?
yeah. There's a team on it. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and add the file search tool.
All right, so this is now new. You can insert tools directly in the Responses API call. And as we're seeing here, they're using the type file search tool. Vector store IDs, this is where you can actually maybe specifically call out a vector that you want to use. And then they have filters. So these are the metadata filters, I believe.
And I'll copy in my vector store ID.
Yep, okay.
And here I can actually filter down the files in this vector store to just the ones that are relevant to the person that we want to style. So in this case, let's start with Ilan. We'll go ahead and filter down to his username. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the metadata filter that they were alluding to earlier.
And we'll come back here and we'll refresh. And we'll say, can you briefly summarize what Ilan likes to wear?
I often ask ChatGPT this question.
Yeah, but it never knows. And now it can actually tell you what Ilan likes to wear. Cool. So Ilan has a distinct and consistent style characterized by Miami chic. That's really awesome. So the files.
And you could see right there. So file search call, what does Ilan like to wear? Ilan's clothing preferences, style summary, fashion choices. And yeah, so you could see the actual call right there in line.
Search tool is a great way to bring information about your users into your application. But in order to be able to create a really good application for this personal stylist, we want to be able to bring in fresh data from around the web so that we have both the newest information and also stuff that's really relevant to your users. So in order to demonstrate that, I'll add the web search tool. You can also add data about like where your user is. So let's try with somebody else. Kevin, are you happen to be taking any trips anytime soon?
Let's say Tokyo.
OK, cool. Tokyo. So I'll put in Tokyo here. And we'll swap in Kevin. And the Responses API is really cool because it can do multiple things at once. It can call a file search tool. It can call